This is the Cuisinart Griddler Deluxe, and it has lots of added new features, and I'm going to show them to you now. First and foremost, it's a more generous size. It has, like our other Griddler, removable dishwasher and reversible plates. So you can actually grill, you can griddle, you can also use it as a panini press. I'm going to show you the other thing that you can do with this is you open it all the way and it can become an open wide grill. And then if you use the flat plates, an open wide griddle. The other great thing about it now is it has a sear blast feature. And the sear blast actually is in the front here, and you use it by pressing these buttons. You can actually do an upper plate, you can do a lower plate, or you can use both plates. That's another added feature too, is that each plate can cook at different temperatures at the same exact time, or you can put them on the same temperature if you prefer. The other great thing is you can now do top browning, and I'm going to show you a recipe where we do that, where it actually can melt cheese, and you can see how that works. This is actually a slide. You slide this, and the lid actually floats above the food. So if you're going to put something in there and melt cheese on it, it's not actually touching the food, but it's actually heating from above. So I'm going to just flip this back. And now what we're going to do is turn the unit on. And I'm going to use it in the contact grill position. So we're going to set it on 450. The unit goes from warm all the way up to 450. And we're going to close the plates. And while that's heating, I'm actually going to talk to you a little bit more about the Griddler. So over here, I'm going to slide this out so you can see it. This is your removable drip tray. It's very generous. Slide that back in. In the back, it also has a cord wrap. And like I said, it's beautifully constructed. It's a really smart design where this handle then becomes the leg. And I mentioned that it has 6 positions. And in those positions, you can do anything like cook bone-in meat. You can make juicy burgers, you can make crisp bacon, you can do in the morning if you have people over on a Sunday, you can do French toast on one side on the griddle, and on the other side on the grill portion, you could do breakfast sausage or even bacon. It's extremely versatile, and you can use it to cook a lot of food at one time. The other thing we like to say about the Griddler is that it can be used for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It can really take you through the whole day for your cooking. So the other thing I like to use the Griddler for, and this is a lot of fun to do, is when I do parties or entertaining, my nephews like to make little mini panini sandwiches. And what I do is I kind of get everybody involved. I have all the ingredients there, and they assemble the sandwiches, and we cook them together. Kind of gives me a hand in the kitchen too. So now that our Griddler is almost heated, the lights are going to turn green, and when they do, we're going to come back and start cooking. So now our unit is up to temperature, and as I mentioned, the lights turn green on the front. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add our bread and we're going to toast it. And what we're going to do is just put it on there. We basted a little bit of olive oil on it, and we are going to just place them down. I'm going to close the Griddler in the contact position, and they're going to toast up nice and crispy pretty quick. So we're going to close it. And then we're going to come back in a few minutes and check on it. So let's check on our bread. See how nice and toasted it got, and it got some beautiful grill marks. What we're going to do now is turn the lower plate down to warm, just by twisting this to the warm button. If we turn it all the way, it'll go off, but we want it right on warm. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave the upper plate on 450, and now I'm going to add some cheese. I'm actually just going to use my fingers for this. We're going to put a little bit of cheese on each one. And then what we're going to do, this is a really great appetizer to make. Do is just sprinkle a little cheese. You could also actually put tomatoes on this first and then the cheese if you prefer. The other thing that's great with this next feature I'm going to show you is that you can actually do a grilled pizza in the same position. Actually, was a little too generous with some of the earlier ones, so these aren't going to have that much cheese on them. So now what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the top. Remember we left it on 450? Just going to slide that so that it's just above the actual bread. And now I'm going to wait a couple of minutes and come back and check, and it should be all melted and nice and gooey. So let's open it and see if our cheese melted. Oh, look how nice that is. It looks really nice and appetizing. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to remove it, put it on the plate here. Now what you can do now, if you prefer, you can eat it just like this. Maybe you want to add a little bit of herbs or maybe a little piece of basil if you prefer. And what I'm going to do is just show you how I would do it myself, which is I'm going to add just a tiny, tiny bit of tomatoes on the top to make it look really pretty. And like I said, you can do, anything that you want with this. Put a little bit on top. This is a bruschetta recipe. It comes right in the IB. Just some little pieces of cherry tomatoes and some basil and some olive oil and garlic. It's really tasty. Sometimes when my nephews come over, they don't like basil, so I make it without for them. Or if they prefer, you can just do it plain. The Griddler is a great product to have in your home. It can help you cook lots of great things. Like I said, juicy burgers, beautiful steaks. You can do breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a crowd or just for two of you.